Welcome to Real Talk episode 17. I am Brian Rose and we are here live at London Real Studios, except there's no guest. This is when I answer your questions for the next 30 minutes. So submit them on the Academy, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Love to hear what you want to know from me. It's been pretty crazy here. Last week on Friday, I had one of the most decorated U.S. Navy SEALs in the building. That's Mr. Jocko Willink. And to put it mildly, Jocko had quite an impact on me. If you don't know who he is, he wrote a book called Extreme Ownership. And it was really about the lessons he learned in the Battle of Ramadi, chiefly in 2006, when his U.S. Navy SEAL Task Force Bruiser went in and really took care of business and brought the city to a more peaceful place. And a lot of the lessons that he learned and how they apply to leadership and management in corporations. It's not exactly the most obvious way that you would go with those kind of lessons from the battlefield, but it's really had a big impact on me. And since then, I've read his entire book, listened to it, and the whole team here at London Real are reading it now in our Audible account and really trying to embrace a lot of those lessons. So I'm going to talk about that later in the show, but we're going to call this Extreme Ownership because I challenge you to start taking extreme ownership of every aspect of your life. And that means your physicality, your relationships, your business, your spirituality, everything. And I just love the way Jocko says it, because we've had lots of people on the show that have said, everything is really up to you. It's never anyone's fault. But I love that concept, extreme ownership. And we're going to get to that later. But in the meantime, a bunch of other things going on here. We have confirmed Mr. Chris Eubank, one of the greatest boxers of all time, held the British title for 5 years, is going to be joining us for our March 12th summit meeting here in London at Hamilton Place, the former home of the Duke of Wellington. So excited for Chris to come talk to us. We're going to hang out with him later at a cocktail reception overlooking Hyde Park. And here's a quick video about it. Check Chris out.
Join us on March 12th for the London Real Summit at number 4 Hamilton Place, home of the Royal Aeronautical Society, for an exclusive, inspirational talk, fireside chat, and question and answer session with the legendary British boxer Chris Eubank, aka English.
Only the person who takes risks is truly free.
Be inspired, ask questions, and have an informal chat with Chris at our private cocktail reception afterwards on the terrace overlooking Hyde Park. Upgrade your peer group and build the best you at our first annual London Real Summit on March 12th.
How incredible is this going to be? We've got people coming from all over the world to come together and really be one as a tribe. I'm so looking forward to this event. We've got incredible speakers like Brad Burton, Chris Eubank, but really the day is more about you. It's about you connecting with people at the Academy. I've always said London Reelers are the coolest people in the world. Academy members are like the creme de la creme of London Reelers. Amazing energy, amazing collaborators, business people, entrepreneurs, mentors, and we're all going to get together in one building and really kind of push ourselves, find out what we want to accomplish this year, put it into place, write it down, become accountable for that, and just get great energy around us. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we're also getting outside, and that's when we're going to take over London. So watch out for the hashtag #TakeOverLondon, because we're going to be doing it in a big way on the 12th, and we might, I'm just saying we might, have a flash mob occurrence happening at 1:30 p.m. at Trafalgar Square in London. You didn't hear that if you were in the authorities, but if you are in the London area, please meet us at Trafalgar Square. So more on that later, but there's a few tickets left. You can pick those up, but it's going to be an incredible day, and I've got my megaphone to hopefully not get arrested, but we're going to have a lot of fun. Everyone is breaking out into groups from guests from the show. So there's Ido Portal, there's a Dan Pena, there's a Dorian Yates group, and it's just going to be an incredible time. So you're going to kick yourself if you're not there. We're putting all of our energy into it. It's going to be an incredible production and an incredible day. So check it out, get your tickets, and that is that. A few more business things, and then I'm going to answer your questions here. The Public Speaking Accelerator course is closed. We've got 11 amazing individuals that are already posting videos, giving us their TED Talk ideas, and my goal is to get them all on a TED stage in 2016. I know It's lofty, but we like to go big here at London Real. So I'm just super excited for those gentlemen that are part of that group. And our live calls happen very shortly. I think next week is our first. So I'm super pumped. Thank you for everyone for applying for that. And we will hopefully have another one of those for all the people that we couldn't accept. And no worries on that. Also, we are just finishing up our Business Accelerator course. We're going to have a few people from the course at the summit meeting so you can ask questions about what they learned. And some of the incredible members that will be there are Mike LaRock and Jacob Lidstrom, both creating their own businesses. And it's just amazing to see what they've done. Also, people like U.S. Marine Chris Albert, Melissa Yap in Australia, they're just doing incredible things. And I've been so proud of what we've been able to accomplish in 10 weeks. And to be honest, what we really deliver is accountability. And a lot of people had ideas for 2 years. They had these plans they were going to do, but they never did anything until they signed up for the course. And then you've got me looking down at you for 2 private calls every week saying, why haven't you done this? Please do this, getting you out of your comfort zone, getting you to try new things, build websites, create email lists, get on social media, create digital products, sell them. That's what we do. And people have actually done it and delivered. And it's funny. It's always the quiet ones that knock it out of the park, and sometimes it's the loud ones that don't, and it's just been incredible to see what happens. So that's all good. The next course starts April 29th. We're leaving the applications kind of quiet for now, but you can apply, but we'll be launching that for reals at the end of next week. So stay tuned for that. We're going to make the course even bigger and even better, but it's the greatest thing that I think we've created here at London Real, and we're going all in for the next one. So super pumped for that. That's what's going on. And just to let you know, we're always jacking our technology up here. We've just introduced live chat for Academy members only on LondonRealAcademy.com. So now you can go on anytime and you can see who's live and you can start chatting with them on instant message and on video. So more to come with that, but we're going to be introducing group chats and a bunch of other topical pieces where we can all come together and talk about an episode, have a quick talk after Real Talk. I might jump on there, answer your questions, but it's the future and it is London Real, and we're really excited. So check that out. In the meantime, it should be at the bottom right-hand corner, a lot like Facebook chat. And thanks to Dre for putting that together, and the whole team that constantly works behind the scenes, making everything happen here, making me look good, which is a tall order, to say the least. And there you go. So Jocko was in the house. I want to talk about extreme ownership really quickly. I just had Lawrence Krauss here, who's an amazing cosmologist, theoretical physicist. He's going to be interviewing Johnny Depp in a few weeks' time in America, and he's done impressive things. He's been in documentaries with Richard Dawkins. He's now acting in a movie with Werner Herzog, and it was really a pleasure to sit down with him. He's a real KPI, and so that was amazing. And of course, we've got Simon Sinek. You would have known him for talking about the why. He has a great TED Talk, and it all starts with why, and then you get to the what, and then you kind of get to the when and the who and all that stuff. And so I'm excited to have him here. Submit your questions for Simon on the Academy, and of course you can watch that live if you're an Academy member. You can watch all our shows live if you're an Academy member. So there you go. Let's get to these questions and get this rocking and rolling. Yes, this is my stick that I used in the Ido Portal episode, The Moving Conversation, which I think is racking up like 120,000 views on YouTube. Check that out. You can watch the full thing for free on the Academy. Ido is in Los Angeles now. Actually, he just went from LA to Vegas. He is with Conor McGregor, the UFC featherweight champ, who is now fighting at 170 pounds versus Nate Diaz, repping 209. I love the Diaz brothers, but my loyalty is kind of with Ido on this one. So exciting to see Ido moving with Conor. He said his lizard walks are coming along well. Conor's doing ring work, ring muscle ups, and it's just so inspirational. I got my first handstand, moving handstand, like walking handstand today at the gym. I mean, like, that's crazy. After 44 years, I can never do that. Now I do it. I'm doing it. It's still not pretty, as you saw on Instagram, but it's happening. And all of these new movement patterns, when it comes to me swinging like a monkey on the rings, backhand walkovers, I'm doing breakdancing classes now. I almost have a windmill. It's all thanks to Ido Portal. So much love to you, Ido, and all the best to you and Conor. Knock that Nate out on Saturday. That made me happy. But it will be a great contest, and respect to the Diaz brothers. They brought so much to the sport. So I love it. Love it. So let's get into this. Let's get into some questions. I'll take one question first, and then I want to talk a bit about Jocko. Jeff Thompson said, Brian, I really enjoyed the interview with Jocko. Thank you very much. Of course, you can watch it live if you're a member. He did. I would be interested to know your feedback on being in the presence of this guy who has lived at the very edge of performance and life and death where everything is on the line. Was there a motivational intimidation factor? Regards. Jeff, it's a great question. I get to meet and interview a lot of people here, and some of them are very famous, very powerful, very accomplished, and it really varies. And I try not to get too excited because I've interviewed 300 or 400 people at this point on the show. But you know, when you research Jocko and look at what he's gone through, you realize he's the real deal. Of course, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he's probably killed a lot of people, all right? He's led a lot of men. He went through the BUDS training, which is what they do to break you in Coronado Island in San Diego. And he's like, that wasn't really very hard. That's not what being a Navy SEAL is all about. And we've all seen how hard that is. And so I'm prepared to meet a guy that's going to be, you know, pretty intimidating and pretty accomplished. But Jocko was more than that. And so it was a real pleasure being around him. And it was a real pleasure to really meet him and get a lot of that rubbing off on me. I think Jocko doesn't really talk about a lot of the things he accomplished. And once I read his book after the show, I got to read the whole thing, because before that, I was really trying to listen and rewatch every single interview he'd ever done. I was really able to really appreciate the work he put in, the way he trained his men, the accomplishments that he did on the battle in the Battle of Ramadi in Iraq in 2006, and what he did afterwards, that I really started appreciating the man he is, the lessons he learned, but really the leadership lessons and the applications that all of this stuff has to business and your life. And I really never saw that coming, Jeff. I just didn't think I would learn it. And so we dove into the book Extreme Ownership here, pretty much head in. And by the end of the weekend, I had listened on Audible to the entire thing. And now our entire team here at London Real is listening to Extreme Ownership. And it's coming up in so many places. And you might think, you know, what does London Real have to do with a bunch of Navy SEALs, you know, that are known for extreme warfare and extreme accomplishments? But the point is to make any mission successful, the team has to be impressive, it has to be on point, and they have to all take extreme ownership. And we're on a mission here at London Real to produce great content, to have amazing conversations, and to really change and affect the world in everything we do. And we like to do everything to the max. You know, we want to be a black belt at everything we do, and we want to, you know, die trying. And so when you meet someone like Jocko who demands excellence, you know, we know what he's talking about, because that's what we do around here. And so everyone's been responding in different ways, and I love it. And the whole concept of extreme ownership is taking ownership of everything in your life and stop blaming others. And that means stop blaming your boss if things are bad at work. Stop blaming your boss for giving you useless work. Stop blaming your wife, your kids, your friends for things not happening in your life. Stop blaming this or that. Take ownership, because it's basically under your control, and it's your fault if it's not working. So it's very empowering when you look at your life that way, because it's easy to complain about people, situations. It's easy for me to complain about team members not getting things done, not being competent, but really I need to look at myself, because I either need to get rid of them, or I need to empower them, to communicate to them the mission better, to give them more resources, or to do something. And that's what a great leader does. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm being lazy, then I'm not working hard enough, and I'm not doing what I should do. And so it's very powerful to think that way and to take ownership of everything around you. And if your whole team is taking ownership, that means everybody down to a department person is taking ownership of everything around in the organization. And they know what everyone else is doing, and they understand the need to do that. So that means that someone making coffee knows that the fact that if they give a great cup of bulletproof coffee to Jocko and he drinks it, we're going to have a great interview, and understands if we have a great interview, then people are going to watch that. They're going to sign up to the academy. We're going to get more great guests. We're going to be able to teach someone someday how to accelerate their business. But they understand that day their job is the coffee, and to do it the best they can. And I'm using a very simplistic example, but it really means that everyone is on point and everyone takes ownership of everything they do. And they deliver to me solutions, not problems. And that's a common theme around here. I hate people that come to me with problems, because anyone can do that, but they come to me with solutions now, which is great. So just want to say big thanks to Jocko and Leaf, who wrote the book. And we're big fans of the work. The book will be featured on the mantle here at London Real Studios soon. And just some of the lessons I learned before I get on to questions. One of them is Decentralized Command. have a mission from the top, but empower everyone under you to go ahead and make decisions on the ground. But they can only do that if they understand the why of what they're doing. And that's a leader's job, to communicate down to the detail and over communicate why you're doing these things and make sure that everyone is bought into the why. And if people believe in the why, then they'll pretty much do anything to get the mission done. So that's one thing I've learned very much. Simplify. I've always been a big fan of simplify, but simplify everything. Don't make it simplistic, but simplify it, because on any mission, things don't work out right. And the simpler the plan, the better. Leading down the chain of command, that's very important. If you're a leader, you need to constantly educate and notify everyone below you on the why things are happening, why they have to do this task that they think is stupid, why you're asking them to do this, why does that guy over there get to do that and I have to do that. The more communication, the better. And so I'm learning on that. And leading up the chain, as in, if you think your boss is horrible, maybe it's your job to go and educate him. Maybe it's your job to bring him in out to the field and show him what you deal with on a regular basis, so then he can understand what your mission is, but it ultimately lies with you. And I love this concept of taking extreme ownership of everything. And it's how great teams work. And I've been part of great teams in my life, and everyone took ownership. And I think it's a great lesson we can learn. So there you go. A little bit of real talk lesson learning these days. But check out the book, and the full episode will be coming out to non-Academy members soon. We'll be releasing it to Academy members in its edited form in a couple weeks. So there you go. All right. Going to questions now. A lot of great questions from our Academy members and a few great ones from Instagram. Loving you guys for all these questions. Sylvie from the Academy says, Brian, how did your idea, desire, or need or motivation to go to broadcasting come along, and how determinant was Joe Rogan's influence on you? Great question, Sylvie. You know, if you would have seen my TED Talk, you would know that I pretty much credit Joe with the ultimate decision to do this, because you know, it's like that movie Inception. You know, an idea is such a powerful instrument when acted upon. But without that idea, I would have never thought that I could do this too. And Joe was doing it. You know, he was an independent media person in the rawest sense of the word. He was streaming from his laptop on a sofa with Eddie Bravo. You know, how independent is that? And so I saw it happening, and I saw the ideas, and I saw the conversations, and I decided to run with it when no one was really doing anything like that. And that's what happened. And so Joe was a big power of it. The rest of it, Sylvia, I don't know what happened. You know, sometimes we don't know the things we do, and we can only connect the dots at the end, as Steve Jobs would say. But I think it was a need to express myself, a need to have conversations with others, a need to contribute to the world, which I wasn't doing a very good job. I was just contributing to taxes at that time. And so I think it was a need to do all that, maybe to push myself, to get uncomfortable, to do something scary. I don't know, all that stuff. And I think I always liked video and maybe doing videos of myself. I'd shot a movie and I'd done videos when I was a kid. So it all came together. And luckily, due to technology, YouTube, and a lot of determination, I was able to make it a reality. And it was perfect timing, because in 2007 it would have been hard, and in 2015 it would have been a little too crowded, in my opinion. So the timing was great, and we went with it. So there you go. That's the answer to that one. One more from the Academy member, Joshua. He says, hi, Brian, love the show. It's also been great seeing you grow as a person, too. Thank you, Joshua. I have a lot. You say, my question is, how do you approach your guests to get them on the show? Are they paid? Has your approach changed as your audience has gotten bigger? And he suggests Sam Harris as a guest. Great idea. We love Sam. Sam actually just had Jocko on his podcast as well. You know, it's funny, just on the growth part, like I've grown in so many ways, it's like hard even to recognize myself. You know, 4 years ago, I was a very different person. I might look like the same from the outside, but very different. I didn't have a lot of people in my life, didn't have any family in my life, wasn't really doing things for the greater good, didn't love making beautiful pieces of work or pieces of art, which I think is what we do now, and I didn't get any satisfaction like that. So that's changed. I'm more social. I'm so many more things, and so that's been like a big improvement. And thanks to you and everyone at London Real, like it wouldn't happen without you. So that's been really big. As far as guests, you know, we have an amazing booking department. Ursula here is constantly working 24/7, doing amazing work. And so when someone like Jocko comes on our radar, I pass that name to Ursula, and she gets in touch with him, and that was how we got him on the show. We had contacted him months ago, and then he got back to us and said, I'm in London, let's do this. But you know, without our amazing team here, that wouldn't have happened. And so there's a lot of work that makes me look good, or that makes London Real look like what it is. There's guys constantly behind the scenes. We got Luis and Danny over here that are working this live stream right now, and they work tirelessly to make this stuff happen. The audio, the video, the trailers, the vlogs, everything. So everyone is really taking extreme ownership to make everything happen. So that's how we make that happen. No, we don't pay guests. We never have, and we never will, because if that's the case, you probably shouldn't be on London Real because you're not getting it. But yeah, it's just a long, methodical process like most things in life. You just got to put a lot of work in. And it's a numbers game. It's like any funnel, like sales funnel. You got to ask 1,000 people, and one might say yes, and just rinse and repeat. There's no magic to this. There's no science. You just get to see all the successful ones. You haven't seen the 900, there's probably 5,000 people that I pitched to be on the show that said no. You never saw those, but trust me, they're there. And if you're ever over here for a focus group, I'll show you the spreadsheet. It's long. So there you go. All right, a few more questions here. Instagram, in the effect. Let me see. Robo Eric says, not a question, but I'd love to hear a story about a difficult time in your life when you were scared and confused and what you said to yourself or what actions you took to get through it. Oh man, let me count how many times have I had a difficult time in my life. I think, we all have difficult times in our life every 5-7 years. You have these big moments, call them midlife crises, whatever, because your dogmas no longer serve you. Because you're thinking, when I get this, then I'll be this, and you get there and it's not what you expected, and then you have a paradigm shift and you realize that your whole values, what you thought was real and important in the world, isn't worth a damn thing, and it's hard. And so I've had tough times, like we all have, hard times as they say, but it's been varying times. So New York City, when I first got there, was trying. When I first came to London in 2002, was very trying. When I first left my job and tried to do London Real, very, very trying times. And so for me, every day is a new day, and as long as you don't off yourself, which, I might have thought about occasionally in the past, but I never did, it's amazing how a new day can just open things up. And as long as you continue to communicate with people, continue to try to make yourself better, continue to just look at the good in the world, it's amazing how you can do a 180-degree turnaround. I would say the most important things that you can do for that is, first of all, get a physical practice. Really important to get physical, because I think it's something we forget about sometimes, because we think depression's in the head, but it really is in the body as well. Elliot Holst, the body is the mind. And get a physical practice, get a mental practice, some meditation, some spirituality, and just interact with humans, We're really all part of the same organism as humans. It took me 44 years to figure that out, but we derive all of our pleasure, all of our gratitude, all of our purpose from each other. That's the secret here tonight. You don't get it from your IPO. You don't get it from what you have in the bank, from what you look like, from your accomplishments, from your awards. You actually get it for what you contribute back to the world and society and people around you. So as soon as you figure that out, you realize, interact with people, your life is going to get a lot better. So that's what I would say. Try to have a North Star and just keep cracking, man. Everyone's going to always get you down. You're going to have hard days. And these days, when I have tough times, I just try to take a step, look back out of the situation and realize it's just Brian having a tough day. It doesn't really have anything to do with anything else or his mindset, and just it will pass, and just keep working. So I hope that helps. I'm expecting more of these to happen to me in the future, but I'm getting better at them as I go along. So there you go. A few more questions. Carolina Jacob said, will you send your child to public or private school, and why? Well, this is Real Talk. Let me answer your questions for real. For me, I think education is the best investment you can make. And people could talk about how schools don't prepare you for jobs and da-da-da-da-da. And it's true. They don't necessarily do that, because you have to prepare yourself for jobs and you have to make yourself marketable. But I think it's the best investment you will ever make. My investment in all my education, whether it was MIT or all the courses I took afterwards, or Pena or a seminar or anything, was all I've received 100x my return on investment. So always invest in education. So I send Gabby to, I pay for any kind of education she can have, because I think it's a guaranteed return on your money. If you can't do that, great. Go public and just make sure you make your teachers accountable. I think that's the next best thing you can do. But I'm a firm believer that capitalism works, and you'll get more for what you pay for than what you don't pay for. And I think that's the truth. I love the NHS here. I think they do a great job, but they don't do as good of a job as someone who's going to get paid for the work, because it just isn't the accountability. So there, I said it. You can sue me. All right, a few more questions here. Money Mostly says, Brian, how would you invest the last 5,000 pounds that you owned? Great question. Really good question. You know what? I would invest it in myself. and I would invest it in nothing else. So I would live like a monk, because you don't need much to live. You need a bed to sleep in, a can of tuna, and you need burpees, okay? You don't need much else to live. And the rest of it, I would invest in my education. So I would try to find the greatest mentors. I would try to get the greatest thoughts. I would put myself in an urban environment full of great ideas, and I would start investing in myself. Spend a small amount of money to get me in the right place with the right people, and I would start building my ideas and testing things. That's what I would do. I wouldn't spend it on anything else. I think a man doesn't need a lot to live. And honestly, you're going to get so much more enjoyment from the accomplishments you make, the relationships you have, than anything you'll ever buy or any money you'll ever earn. And that's just the truth, Ruth. So the sooner you figure that out, the better. All the good stuff happens, outside of the bank account. I like to say the best things in life are cheap. Not free, but the best things in life are cheap. It's that meal you share with your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor after you guys just had an epic 60-minute roll on the mat where there's sweat dripping down the edge. It's that meal you have with them afterwards where you buy them dinner. Like that's the great stuff. It's like all these little things that don't cost a lot of money are the great things. And the things that do, show me a bunch of guys with a yacht and I'll show you a bunch of happy, unhappy, sad mofos. I remember I was in some island resort in Italy, right? And we were on this beach, some beach like disco club thing, and everyone was partying. And there was a dude out in the boat, and he was out in this huge boat sitting out there having his own like private party out there. There was like 10 people. And I was like, okay, we all fly here to this beautiful island to get together, and he goes on a boat out in the water to be alone. I'm like, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard of in my life. It's like people that say, I want to buy an island. Why do you want to buy an island? So you can go be alone? Crazy. Anyways, but that's the wealth bias. People think, and private jets, again, I know they're great and they're convenient, but really? I don't know. I don't get it. Anyways, all right, a few more questions here, and then we'll cruise on here. Afragram says, Brian, why don't you improve your Snapchat game? It's bad. Okay, respect. I love constructive criticism, but are you on our Snapchat? It's London Real TV, baby, and it's very good. We put out videos, we put out pictures from the studio multiple times a day. So you're wrong. Your Snapchat game is weak, and I'll be coming back to you. But thank you for it. I love constructive criticism, so keep it coming. Game Changers Official says, Brian, have you ever thought of having more environmentalist guests on the show? For example, Kip Anderson, who was in the documentary Cowspiracy. I saw him talking to Joe Rogan about that movie, and I want to watch it because I love it. We've been having environmentalists on the show since the day-o, since back in the beginning, baby. We had Jack Fresco on here early on talking about the Venus Project, and he's probably one of the original guys that was talking about the environment. We had Peter Joseph, the Zeitgeist Movement, which is environmental to a certain extent as well. So yeah, we're old school when it comes to that, baby. I'm always interested in talking to filmmakers that want to talk about that thing or anyone else. We've had our huge share of activists, whistleblowers like Jesselyn Raddick, Annie Michon. So yeah, always open to talk to those people. Love that stuff. I loves me a good documentary. But cheers and lots of love going out to my man Adam Scorgi from The Culture High, who's been our guest twice. I think he's got some new movies coming out, and I really love what he's doing. So yeah, we're always up for a great discussion with great people and just relevant topics. So hit us up on Twitter. Let me know what's going on. And now, the last question for Cal Buns. Maybe I'll answer this one on our PA system here. By the way, if you like this, send me a picture of that, tweet it out to me, and I'll give you a shout out on Trafalgar Square on the 12th of March. Don't tell the police we're going to be there because we might get in trouble. The last question is, which interviewee, this is from Cal Buns, I love these names on Instagram, which interviewee inspired you the most and had the biggest impact on your life and why? Great question. The first name that comes to mind is probably Dan Pena, that grumpy old bastard who I was yelling at back and forth with our episode last week. I love and hate Dan equally. I think Jocko is probably going to have an impact on me over time because I think the things he said hit home a lot. And he's a very serious guy that's done some serious things, and I think that makes a real impression. Other people, Ido Portal, no-brainer. He really affected the way I move in a big way. Daniel Priestley affected the way I do business and look at business. But so many people. Chris Eubank, who's going to be at our event on the 12th, that warrior spirit, the way he carries himself, the way his posture is, the way he dresses. I just love everything about him. Brad Burton, who's also going to be at our event, the way he speaks, the way he motivates, the way he's constantly looking to push himself, and how money isn't the ultimate goal with Brad. That's what's nice about him. He's not looking to take the picture in the jet. He's not looking to show you the picture of his car. He hangs out with guys with million-pound cars, and he finds the concept quite silly. And I know, I hear him. I've been with people with nice cars too, and they're kind of fun to drive in for about 10 minutes. And then it's like, okay, what are we doing next? So much respect to those guys. They've all changed my life in a big way. So there you go. That's 30 minutes of fun. Let me know if you like this. Let me know what you think of Jocko Willink and the whole concept of extreme ownership. If you don't like it, I'm really curious why. Because if you're not ready to own what you're all about, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you're kind of in a state of denial, but I think we can own everything. And now the Chinook helicopters are coming overhead, so I hope I haven't said anything to upset Jocko. But there you go. This has been Real Talk, episode 17. We will see you back here next week, and I hope to see you March 12th at our summit here in London. It's going to be dope. Don't kick yourself later for not being there. Peace!